Hello, I'm Lise Colucci. I am one of the life coaches at Queen Being. It's good to see you guys today. I'm here to do live video coaching, so go ahead and ask any questions that you have or talk to me about what's going on. Today, I'm thinking we'll talk about right now to begin with finding your passion in life and finding your bliss, finding your joy, finding things that make you happy. And what does that all look like for you guys? Hello, Life's Revival. Hello, Jonathan and James. Good to see you guys. Thank you for coming in so soon. Yes, hi, Darla. So a lot of times, most of us, I think, after we've suffered any kind of trauma, but especially when you're talking about abusive relationships, you may end up feeling like you just don't have any idea what you want to do with your life, but you need to make a change. And sometimes making that change can be like the focus that gets you to the next level of healing. So I think it's an important topic. Hi, Shastina and Michelle. Hello. And Jonathan's saying hello to Shastina and that he's missed you in his family home. Hello, Jack and James is what Shastina is saying. So, okay. Hello, Jen. You made it. Yes. So we're talking about finding your passion, finding your joy, your bliss, your mission in life, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of ways to look at it. And it can, hi, Misty, it can be the next level of getting out of the stuck feeling that you might have after abuse. Like sometimes we heal for years or months, but sometimes years, and we don't know why we still feel stuck and we can't get on to the next thing. You couldn't find yours either. Your bliss, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Okay, we are having private chat, so I'm going to keep talking unless there are questions, and then I'll start reading the replies as well. Can you all hear me? Okay, I got a new microphone. Can you tell me if it sounds all right? Because I didn't test it, because you know me, I'll just throw it on and let's go. Let's try it. I'm assuming you can, or someone would have said, Lise, you're just moving your lips and we can't hear you. Okay, so anyway, back to finding your passion. So what do you guys think who are in here about that topic? What have you done to find something in your life that helps drive you toward the next level of healing? Anything at all? Or are you totally stuck there? You hear me? Fine, good. Thank you, Life's Revival. What, Mike? Well, you can't see it. I put it where you can't see it. I'll show you later. Jonathan says, yes, if I remember right, the topic is on finding your passion, which I think is what Lisa's upcoming group coaching session is going to be on. It is, which is why it's in my mind, because I am wondering what people need help with. I know it's a big topic, and I know that it covers a lot of things and can mean something different for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are fine in their careers. A lot of people want to change their careers. Right there, you've got a built-in way to start working on yourself, working on your life to create something better for yourself. And that's just one avenue of finding a passion. It can just be anything, really. Let's see. James says, you got an, okay, talking about your microphone. Does this one sound okay? I cannot tell. Obviously, I'm talking and I hear my own voice, but I can't tell what it sounds like to you guys till I listen later. What did I purchase? I have no idea. I asked and someone sent me a link. I think Angie sent me a link and I said, okay. So I think it's the same one she uses. So I should sound like her, right? No, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, you need a career, says Jen. You do. And so what do you do, or a job? Jonathan says, Shastina, consider talking to Angie or her assistant. I had to get help to get that sorted. Okay. Let's see. Now I have a British accent. Uh-oh. What happened? Life's Revival says, I'm learning that I appreciate peace and living with my own choices is best for now. Exactly. Appreciating peace and then maybe taking, what I'm talking about is taking it to another level where incorporating the things that you do appreciate into creating something that makes you want to get up in the morning. Does that make sense? You make wisecracks and take pictures. Well, that's good. Let's see. Misty says, I found my passion and I only need help with technology. Just wanted to come and hang out with you. I got a new mic and headphones set on, but mine is on my head. Yeah, you see, I have one. I put it on my head and then it gets stuck in my curls because curls are like Velcro. They grab things and then I have it. I can't get it out of my hair and I'll be yanking it. It's not good. So I gave up on that. Plus I got teased for looking like, I don't know, I think they said, I don't know, some singer that I don't know the name of, but anyway, not that I can't handle being teased, but hi, Tam. Last Revival says not there yet. What would help you get there? What do you think would help you get there? Where do you feel stuck? That's my question. I'm wondering how to help people with this particular topic and what's needed. So just start asking, or actually ask anything. I'm just starting with a topic. You guys, this is open to any topic you guys want to talk about or have questions about. So, Jen, you asked what I do. I did ask what you do. You see how it is? I get everybody going at once and I forget who I asked what. Sorry about that. You make wisecracks. That's awesome. Okay. James asks, what's good start to setting boundaries? In what area would you need to be setting boundaries? So let's see. I'm gonna have to scroll down. Darla says, I'm finding a job that would be fun where I can learn something new. And that's kind of, are you working on that now, Darla? You haven't gotten it stuck in your frizz, says Misty. Hi, Deborah. Shasina says, I have the same hair, Lise, right? It's everything sticks in it. Are we talking about finding our passion? Yes, we are, Tam. How are you doing with that? And what does that look like for you? Passion, says Jonathan. I know it was much worse when I was younger. I'm not independent on my own. I'm talking about your drive for what gets you up in the morning, not passion as in romance. So Last Revival says, I don't know. Do you have any suggestions? What if you could do anything, would you do? I mean, a really simple question, right? What if you could do anything with your day, and what would you do? That's a way to start. What brings you joy? What brings you to a place in your day where you can't stop doing it? You know, like something that makes you think about it when you're not there. That's when you know you're onto something. So it can be anything, and it doesn't have to be something, money-wise. We're not just talking about ways to make money. What's the topic? Hello, is that Donna? Donna, just being real. Right now we're talking about finding your passion or your joy or what you enjoy in life as a way to help you get unstuck and move on to the next level of healing. But honestly, you could talk about any topic and we could go with that too. I just opened with that. Let's see. Deborah saying hello. Just being real, also a subject of Lisa's upcoming coaching group. Yeah, I'm starting a coaching group for this topic, and so it's been on my mind, and I'm wondering like how to help people, what the questions are, what's coming up around that topic, because I know I see it a lot in people. I hear it a lot from people that they feel stuck and they don't know what to do next, or they don't feel like they have a whole lot of energy for life. So I know for myself, finding something that I love and enjoy and wake up wanting to do has helped me tremendously to not feel that stuck feeling. So let's see. Jen says, I signed up for photography classes. That's great. What kind of photography do you do? I do portraits. What do you do? I think maybe you've shown me before, but memory is slipping. Oh, it's your favorite topic? Oh, good. Talk to me then, Donna. What do you like about this topic? And do you have any questions or any suggestions for people? You paint and grow a garden, says Darla. Yes. Tam says, still searching, having fun exploring, and just daydreaming about it right now. Last night I was thinking and organizing, making an app or drawing. Oh, very fun. Okay. Let's see who else is in here. Everyone's saying hi to everybody. Landscape. Jen, you do landscape mainly, and portraits of me. Excellent. Love it. I don't do self-portraits. Should, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's great. What's your favorite part of landscaping that you like? And what kind of classes did you sign up for? And will it take you on new adventures, and will it push you past your personal comfort zone in these classes? Sometimes that can help with finding your passion. It's like finding something that you love and then pushing past where you're comfortable, like live streaming. Jonathan says, for me, Lisa, I think finding my passion was very much harder when my narc mom had a lot more control. Absolutely. That's the point, right? So setting boundaries and breaking free of my programming, your inner messages, has been the key. Right. Breaking free of the inner programming that tells you I can't do this and I'm not worth it and there's nothing out there for me anyway, and all the programming that we've been told. So, oh, my dog's talking to you now. Shh, you have to be quiet. She waits till I'm talking because I think she thinks I'm talking to her and she talks back. So anyway, Jen says, I'm hoping it's going to push me way past that comfort zone into travel photography. I have a suggestion for you later. I will message you or message me and I'll send you some links for some people to look at. I've never been anywhere and I didn't usually take pictures of me, but it does help to do it even if you don't like it. Self-portraits, they're fascinating to take. Shastina says, under so much stress, when I give thought to all this, I cry and try not to dissociate. Okay, dissociation has been automatic since I was little, not good. I do pattern interrupt, doesn't always work. All right, so finding your passion makes you feel stressed out. Okay, so simplify it. How about what makes you feel calm? What makes you feel a little bit like yourself? You know what I'm saying? Instead of dissociating, what makes you feel like yourself? What, even if it's an object to anchor to, what makes you feel like the person that you are? And that can help bring you back into your body a little bit. So let me know what you think, Shastina. Which one, Ruby? The other one. Let's see, Darla. Yes, I would like to sell my art at flea markets and sell my secret recipe of canned pickled okra. Yum! You can sell me one of those. You heard the puppy. The mic is good. Puppy's loud and clear. Excellent. See, she was testing the mic. That's all it was. Just not let the mailman come now because they will all start barking and I'll say bye. The reason I love this topic, just says Donna, just being real. So many people wake up in the morning thinking, God, is this supposed to be my life? Right. When a person feels that way, they have not found their purpose. Right. Or their fears are. They have not found what their purpose or their fears are. Right. Yeah, exactly. And so what do you do in your day to help guide you toward the topic? What helps you get your life in line with keeping it toward finding your passion and not looking back into your trauma? Does that make sense? Is that kind of what you're saying? Because I think that's how I see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm interpreting. It's really hard from one paragraph to get a full sense of you here. The fears are holding them back. I get it. Okay, yeah. Tam says, Darla, have you done country or state fairs? That's one thing that she kept putting off. Okay. You would give me one. Thank you. Pickled okra. Jen says that, Jonathan, yes, you can be addicted to it, and it's truly the only thing that brings that kind of feeling. Okay. And everyone's loving your pickled okra idea. Spicy or mild or both is the question. So James, you asked about boundaries. What about boundaries? I'm gonna have to scroll way back to see what you said here, and I can't do this very fast. So hit me up with it again, please, if you can, before I just sit here like trying to scroll and read, because it's not very nice streaming when I do that. Okay. Shastina, were you still with me? I don't want to stress you out with this topic, so I'm going to move on to something else. But you guys I'm going to talk about boundaries a little because James brought it up. Oh, you are still with me. Okay. But I don't know what his question was about it yet. So come back, James. What was it? What about boundaries? It's not just finding my passion, but my freedom from toxic environment that I'm in. Okay, yeah. I think once I'm on my own and finances are stable, I'll do much better. The problem is just getting there. Yeah, I can see how that would hold you back because you're still in a situation that you don't want to be in, and it can feel kind of suffocating, I'm sure, to think about what you can't access or you feels like you can't access. But you can access positivity, and that trying to access positivity will help you in the next stage when you are able to get yourself out. Because if you get free, it's not the only thing. Like once you're free, there's all this stuff, right, to heal from. You can start healing now, even though you're in it, by, at least trying to sort of focus back on some positivity for your day. You don't have to think deeply about like what do I want to do with my life, my passion, but it may be the thing that helps get you out, but it may be something like you're saying that holds you back because it's overwhelming. So, simplify it. Simplify it down to like the smallest little piece so that you're still getting some positivity. You can't just sit in the negativity. It's too much. It's too much and it's too overwhelming. Um, let's see. Tam is saying, he said, what is a good start to setting boundaries? Well, first of all, you got to know what you are trying to set a boundary for, right? Like we don't often know that we are having our boundaries stepped on or that we should have even placed them. Sometimes it's our own not um, not being aware that something could be a boundary or should be a boundary. So it's recognizing where they could be placed, recognizing where you're lacking them, recognizing where you let people step on them. And I say let, sometimes it's let, sometimes it's they just do it anyway, So it depends on where you're coming from and where you're starting, right? But once you recognize it, then it's like anything. You recognize it, you have it happen again, you recognize it again, you have it happen again, you recognize it again, and eventually you say, wait a minute, I was going to stop that, and you stop it, right? I mean, um, boundaries are they're basically when we're people pleasers, they're difficult, right? And we have to look at things like, am I not setting a boundary because I'm afraid people won't like me? Why am I not setting these boundaries? So seeing it, you're lacking them, says Jen. Is that what you're talking about? Hello, is that Evelyn? Is it Eveline? Eveline? Or you can't answer me. Why am I asking you? Hello, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You are saying every time Evelyn. Ooh, that's pretty. Am I saying it right? Evelyn? Every time I would set a boundary, he would ghost me. It happened 3 times now, and I've realized I'm done. Evelyn, I like that. That's lovely. Okay, well, when we're talking about setting a boundary with a narc, I know James isn't. I think he's talking about boundaries like with everyone else in life, and as he's not with narcs. But when we're talking about with a narc, no, they hate it. They hate it. It's gonna cause a problem. We have to do it. The point isn't to get along with them to stay. I mean, if that's the point, then it's a different discussion, right? Like how to manage and how to cope. Like say you have a boss or someone, you don't. It's different way of setting boundaries very gently with people when we have to stay and we want to get along, or we're trying to work. I don't even know how to word that. I'm picturing like a situation where someone has a narc boss and they don't want to leave their job. How do you set boundaries, right? Gently, making them think it's their idea. But that's talking about dealing with narcs. And if you're talking about, are you planning to try to get out? Are you planning to stay? What is if you don't mind, what's your story a little bit? So I know how to answer that. Jen says, I have the worst issue saying no to anyone. Why? What happens? What if you say no? What's the worst that's going to happen? What do you fear? Justine is listening for now. Okay. Let's see. Jonathan says, Lise, yes, my narc is my mom, as I've said, and she's already complained, whined about boundaries Julie and I set. Yep. And because you're trying to manage her in a sense, right? Because you're not going no contact. So then it's how do you set it? I mean, I guess part of it is you don't care if they're mad at you, right? If you're out and moved. Okay. Yeah, you're talking about before. Okay. Evelyn, is that right? Did I say it? Did I get it? See, I forget so fast with names. I'm sorry. Okay, so if you're out, yeah, the ghosting and the silent treatment and all of that, they really hate it when you set boundaries. It's like a control game. You set a boundary and you've just upped the game in their eyes. And they're going to up it with anything that they think they can do to hurt you. That's just how they operate. So, let's see. And so, yeah, Jonathan, yeah, of course she gets mad, right? And so what do you do? What do? You just don't deal with it. Don't deal with her. Or don't deal with her anger rather, and her frustration. Jen says, oh, with the narc, I set boundaries with them. I left them all behind me. No issues there, right? And if Lane says, I've moved across the country, and he said he was coming, didn't, so I'm moving again where I want to go. Perfect. Sounds like fun and adventure. And finding your passion, which is what we came back to. So finding where you want to be in life, right? That's great. Um, Jonathan says, yes, we're not no contact, just low contact. She complains mostly about being banned from our house and such. Well, you know, right? um, you don't know, you feel bad if you say no. Guilt, maybe? Maybe that's a place to look at, Jen, if you want, to pay attention to what it is you actually feel when you say no. Practice saying no in situations that aren't the end of the world for you, just tiny situations, and see where it comes up. See what's coming up for you. Sometimes we hide from what we're actually feeling. We just know it doesn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like we know that saying no is hard, and so we don't even question why it's hard. We just know it's hard. Does that make sense? And maybe start questioning, why is this hard? What's going on? Why am I reacting like this? And see if you can come up with some story you tell yourself. You'll hear it. You'll hear the voice in your head saying, "Oh, Jen, whatever." You telling yourself this programming that's been put in there. And that's when you can go after it. Once you know what you're telling yourself about the no, then you can start setting boundaries, because you know what you're probably telling yourself is probably programming and completely inaccurate to logical sense, really. And we are talking about where we're moving. That is exciting. Let's see. Jen, Jonathan's asking you, are you worried they will be upset, angry, or disappointed? That's what I often worry about and fear. You worry about upsetting and angering people. You know what, though? People, it's theirs. So when we're raised by narcs, and when we have them, I got close to the mic, sorry. When we have them in our formative years, and when we have them when we're in our lives, for long periods of time, so that the programming is so ingrained in us that we become fearful of saying no because we think we're going to hurt people or offend people. It is another person's responsibility to be responsible for their own emotions when someone says no to them. If we say no politely and decline something in a way that is not, a harsh no, like if we just say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that today. That should not hurt someone's feelings or offend anyone, nor make them angry, unless it's, something they're relying on you for, that they need to rely on you for, which is a different situation. But for most people, they should be able to take it. And if they can't, there's something going on in that relationship that isn't right. So, and then remember, when you're changing boundaries, when you set boundaries with with people, they could be perfectly fine people. They could be your best friend, and they could be wonderful. And you set a new boundary, they're going to be uncomfortable because they're used to you being a certain way. You set a boundary, they're going to have a reaction because they don't understand what you're doing. Why are you acting this way? Why are you saying no all of a sudden? Why don't you ever want to do anything with me? They're going to take it personal. And if it's someone that's close to you, you can tell them, look, I'm working on saying no. I need to say no more because I say yes to everything, and it's not good for me. And if they're not someone you can say that to, you just let them feel frustrated, and you smile and you move on. And it's okay if they get a little upset. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to, as you change and as you grow, people are uncomfortable because they're not used to it. That's all it is. It's not about them disliking you. And if it is, then they need to be out of your life, really, right? Jen says, yes, I think it may be fear. You didn't tell people in my past. No, ever. Phoenix, hello. Where are we moving? Me too. Where are you going? How are you? How are you doing? I've been thinking of you. Let's see. We're talking about where we're moving. Horrible connection. I'm sorry. They feel threatened. Okay. Jonathan says, yeah, I actually had to tell my enabler father some of the limits because he is still vulnerable to being, I can't read that. Oh, he's being playing a flying monkey. Oh, right. Okay. Well, so you have to set boundaries and limits with him too, is what you're saying? Because he will go right back to her. Of course, right? We do. We have to set boundaries with everyone. That's just the way. It's healthy to have a certain amount of boundaries so that we can have individual lives, right? Um, Misty says, I volunteered at my girls' school and never said no because I was afraid of their reaction. Before I left there, I had a situation that I did not feel comfortable and I said no, and the coach didn't flip out. You know what? That's right. People understand no, especially when you're a yes sayer. They do a lot of times. People that, you know, Tam says, yeah, Jen, it does get easier once you work through it. I was able to say no this week. It was difficult to not automatically try to automatically try to do it, but I caught myself and said, thanks, but no thanks. That's perfect, Tam. I'm proud of you. I know how hard that is for you. And I know that, and your friend was okay with it, quite okay with it, she says. You know what? People are. And when they see that you're taking care of yourself, your friends should appreciate it. You know, um, yes, Jonathan says he's an awesome support to Julie and I, but Julie in particular won't share certain things with him because she doesn't want them getting back to mom. Totally reasonable and makes sense, and probably wisest thing you can do is keep things to yourself when you know someone has direct contact and an intimate relationship with a narc. So, and you're the narc that is one that has abused you. So, it made a huge impact, Lise says. Tam reinforced what you'd been teaching me. Oh, great. Tell me what you did. You said no oh, I see. You said no to a person that was a friend. What did you feel when you said that? How did it happen? Did you feel really uncomfortable and then suddenly it felt better, or did you have to talk yourself through it? What happened with that part? If you don't mind, Tam. Johnson says, you've eased off saying sorry, also related to being about saying no. Yes, it is. It's a boundary. I think we say sorry to soften our own guilt that shouldn't even be there in the first place, right? There's nothing to be sorry about half the time when we say sorry. It's just we say sorry to, sometimes we do it to get validation back that the person isn't mad at us. And when really what shouldn't matter is whether or not they're mad at us. What should matter is whether or not they respect our boundary, right? Deborah says, great job, Tam. Jen says, Tam, I hope you're getting better at it. I'm hoping to get better at it, but I'm not in the right place yet. Once I'm gone, I'm hoping to improve upon that. Thank you that gives me hope. Tam is the little beam of hope. I love it. Misty says, I saw a meme that said, when I say no, you better listen. No is not a word. It is a whole sentence. That's right. That's right. And it's not even saying no. Sometimes it's in having to change your time with something, having to rearrange some plans. There's a lot of, boundaries are all over the place, right? It's not just in the saying no. But I realize that's what we're talking about. So good session tonight. Thank you, Deborah. Oh yeah, sorry. I've stopped saying that all the time. Right. What do you say instead? I say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for understanding that I am late. I appreciate it. There are times to say sorry. I figure if you're over 10 minutes late, you can probably say sorry. I'm sorry. I kept you waiting, and thank you for waiting. I appreciate it. But saying sorry for, I'm sorry, but no, not needed, right? Most of the time. Tam says she asked if I was free. I started to try to figure out how to squeeze in time with her in the middle of everything else, and I felt myself getting tense. I took a deep breath and I did grounding, and I told her that I appreciate her asking, but I couldn't that afternoon. She was like, no worries. We can talk later. We can try later. Oh, isn't it? How did that feel? Because reading that, I feel good. I feel like two people one person was heard and agreed to somebody's boundary. And the other person, you, got to speak from your truth and you were heard. So simple. So simple. If people could just do that, right? Jonathan says, Jen, maybe I'm just male about this, but I don't like, I'm sorry, not sorry. I don't like that either, unless it's in very specific situations, and then it's funny, but I don't really use that either. Let's see. Sam says it's liberating from not having someone dictate what I should be doing. And what's funny is that she probably would never, ever, ever want to dictate what you should be doing in the first place. It's that the programming that you had taught you that if somebody asks you something, they're telling you something. And that isn't what is, I mean, most people are asking because they genuinely want to know, will you, can you? They don't actually, maybe not most people, but many people um, really just want to know if you're available. And that sounds like it's all she wanted. Are you available? No, I'm not. Okay, let's try later. Done. Simple. Um, but the programming that says in your mind that says if someone's asking something of me, I have to say yes because it's a command. That's amazing, and I'm so glad that you have seen that and that you're working with it, because this is going to free up a lot of your time and your energy. Um, Tam says, yes, Narc mom's requests weren't requests. They were demands disguised as favors or requests. Yep. That's what I could hear it as you wrote it. That's right. I didn't say I do, says Jen. Shastina says, Misty Dawn, my adult kids are a big part of my issue of having to sell because I can't keep up. And I don't want the home taken because I can't afford property taxes. It's my second home. Okay. I think you guys are having a conversation I missed the beginning of. I'm sorry. James says, sorry if I missed it earlier. How can I check my boundaries to see which need improvement? Well, where do you feel? Tam had a great description just above. She had a friend ask her a question, hey, you want to hang out? And she felt tension in her body. And that tension in her body gave her a signal that I don't want to do this. And so she said no, and she set a boundary. And what happened was the friend's like, no worries, we'll catch up later. It was fine. So places where you sense tension when you are saying yes to something, places where you sense tension when you, oh gosh, boundaries. I'm stuck on the yes no thing, but there's so many ways to set boundaries, right? It's not just yes or no. But the tension is a big one where we're doing something where it doesn't feel right to us. Like we did it and we go, why'd I do that? Then you pay attention. Oh yeah, that type of thing happens to me a lot. I don't want to keep doing that. And so next time it happens, you look for the sensations in your body and look for the tensions. And they usually, our bodies tell us a lot, Oh, you noticed my question earlier, Jonathan. Thanks for mentioning it again. And I don't know what you're talking about, but you're welcome. um, let's see. It gets easy each time. It does get easier each time. Each time we set boundaries, it gets a little easier because we realize it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. James, also looking for what you fear, to see which need improvement. If you feel like if you do something or don't do something, say something, don't say something, whatever, and you realize that is potentially a boundary, what do you fear that's making you do the thing anyway? Why are you crossing your own line? That is one way to check to see which need improvement and how to improve them, right? Let's see. Jonathan says, Tam, I can definitely relate. My mom also had a habit of following up on advice to see if I followed it. Right. Because it's never a request, it's a command. It's always disguised in the form of a sugary, sweet question half the time. But Jen said she trusted her intuition. Love that. Isn't that great? Yes. Tam's been working on this too. She trusts her intuition, and she also has a good sense of her tensions in her body, which helps a lot, I think. James, someone leaving, someone being mad, that makes you feel like you need to do anything just to make it not happen. Is that what you're saying? And so then you cross your own boundaries in order to, or let them cross boundaries in order to keep them there and not be angry. Is that what you're talking about? Excuse me. Tam says, let's see. I know that one too. She still even tells people that I was thinking 20 years ago. Yeah, which isn't true, but it's her version. And how if I'd only done what she said, yada yada yada. Yeah, that's the old line, right? Let's see. Shastina, I'm finding I have to explain why I say no. Ah, that's a good point. Even if not asked why. What do they call that? Reminding and stopping myself from explaining. Proud of that progress. That's excellent. It's really good really good to see that. When you see that in yourself, where you're over explaining and you're over explaining everything you do, Oh boy, yes, I know this one well. Like everything you do, you feel like needs an explanation, and especially when it's something that might upset someone else, like a no, um, or a let's do it later, or something that is. I mean, like I said, it's not just the no's; it's boundaries. I feel like the no boundary is kind of the easiest one, and I know that sounds like, come on, guys, we're all talking about how hard it is, but that one's very cut and dry. It's one or the other, right? It's yes or no. It's the fine lines that when it gets into, anyway. I am glad that you said this though about over explaining yourself. So, how do you stop yourself? You just catch it and stop? Does that work for you? Um, why do you think you do that? Because you were taught that if you didn't, you'd be in trouble. Someone would be mad at you. Is that what happened? That is my experience, and it's exactly what I did. And now I catch myself and kind of giggle about it, like, oh, I just did that again. Um, let's see. Jonathan says, Jen, I made a sanity sign just on leaving to trust intuition again. Okay. Ah, let's see. James, for some, mostly friends, I don't want to let them down. Okay. Well, sometimes we have to think about answering people honestly the first time. I don't know. You're giving me little tiny sentences, so I don't know the whole of what you're talking about, but I'm going to make up a scenario. Like, say we say, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll do this," or "Yeah, maybe this will work out," or whatever, and then later we say no. And then it can feel like you're letting someone down because they had an expectation set. But if you've not set an expectation, there's nothing to let down. It just isn't. Um, People might want to hang out and you just don't have time, and that might feel like disappointment, but that's not a letdown. That's just disappointment, and the disappointment's a good thing. It means they want to hang out with you, right? It's not terrible for people to feel disappointed or let down once in a while. Now, if you're actually letting them down, that's a different story, because that means you're saying one thing and then changing it later, and that's not what you're talking about, but that's what I'm picturing from what you said here, even though that's not what you said. So I don't know what you mean beyond that. Let me know, James. Okay. Wait, you do that, Jen. Which one do you do? You over explain things. Yes, the over explaining things is a big one. And I think, to me, that's a boundary you set with yourself. I will not over explain. It is nobody else's business why I do things the way I do them. I am a grown up person, and I do not need to explain why I do everything I do to the people around me. I think that if you've had childhood abuse or long-term narc abuse, that's a big one, because it comes from the gaslighting. I think it comes from having our truth twisted, and then having to explain our way out of it, and then if we get upset about anything, having to explain why we're upset. Does that make sense? That's how I think it one way it can come about. So we have to realize we're safe. That isn't happening. This other person is not gaslighting us. They're just talking to us. They just want to, sometimes, the boundaries are interesting, because sometimes it's a feeling of realizing somebody wants something from you and you just don't have it to give in that moment. Does that make sense? That I know that, at least that for me, sometimes that's what it is. And it's sometimes easier just to not set the boundary and do the thing anyway. And that's just not the right thing to do. So, let's see here. I'm going to read what you guys are talking about. You guys are talking about a meme. Shastina, Misty, I'm working on living on my own, free from this mess. Good. Hoping to change that and be free. Good. You're hoping to change being around toxic people. Good. I think that you will feel so much better when that happens. Let's see. Evelyn, if they care about you, they will understand. That's right. And if they care about you and they don't understand, they will over time. Like I said, when you make change, and it's big change, like boundary setting, people are uncomfortable. Of course they are, because of course they might take it personally. You know what I mean? And that's not a problem. It's okay to say, I'm just working on taking care of myself right now, and I have to say no to this, or whatever you need to say. To have people understand without over explaining. It's the delicate thing. James says, okay, like my friend asking me to come help them do something around their house. And I feel like if I say nothing, if I say nothing, a bad friend? Like if you say nothing, well then say no. Say I can't. I'm not available this weekend, or um I'm not into that. You know what I mean? It's not a bad friend. They're looking for free help. I mean, come on, which is the worst friend, right? It's not. I don't think either is bad. I think it's okay to ask for help, and I think it's okay to say no to helping. Um, and sometimes it's something you don't want to do, like a particular type of thing around the house, and sometimes it's just the timing. It's okay to it's okay to say no, and it's not a bad friend thing. Um, Detailed to death explanation, right? Says Shastina. Let's see. You do the same thing on Facebook too. Okay. Well, I'm getting lost here. Too. My cell is not smart as stupid, slowing me down more. But to answer you, at least I do catch myself. Good. I even actually said once, what I don't need to explain to you. Yes, that's good. So, yes, you catch yourself. Okay. That's good. I mean, that's more than half of it, right? Catching yourself, stopping yourself before it happens. It's okay, it'll come. Um, and I love that you brought that up because that's a really good point. Darla says, right, my son asked me where something was, and I immediately said, I don't know, I didn't do it, right? I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It was the dog. but I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because, right, we all do this, right? Tam says, yes, Lise, it makes perfect sense. And sadly, they used our explanations to make it even worse for us. Didn't realize until this year, right? Yeah. Oh, of course, they use the explanations to then throw back more gaslighting. It's it, right. And then that's what's stuck in our head. And so that's why we over explain, because we want to hit them hard with the explanation before they have a chance to refute us and make us feel crazy, even though they're not the people who did it to us to begin with. And they're probably perfectly safe and would not gaslight us anyway, but it becomes a habit, right, in us. When I saw her making very superficial changes during the love bombing to try and get me back to her normal. Yeah. Okay, sorry, that was the end of what you said before. Jen says, yeah, I catch myself now and I say, you didn't ask me that, huh? Right? It's okay. It's catching it and catching it, and then eventually softening it and realizing why you do it and that it's not needed. It's not needed. Sometimes it is. It's a good skill to have, right? We've got that in our back pocket. We don't need it every day. You mean if you said no? I think I gotcha. I know. Let's see. I got into the habit, says Shastina, of over explaining because I always had to try to justify myself. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, like having to justify yourself, having to explain your way through being gaslighted. Like having your truth twisted and then having to explain your way out of it. Yep. Thanks. Gotta go. It was a great chat. Thank you, Evelyn. I love your name, and it was nice to have you come back. I will be here again soon. So, and you guys hit subscribe if you not already are. I think most of you are, so that you can see when I come on. I'm trying to do this 3 times a week now. Oh, here we go. Shastina says, I have to explain why I'm upset because those involved don't seem to understand. And you're talking about toxic people don't understand, or anyone you feel doesn't understand? Because sometimes that can be a good place to work too, if it's everyone. But I'll wait till you answer. Jonathan says, that person is not a member of this network. Okay, you're talking about something else. Let's see. Tam says, yes, it's a hard habit to break, but it's a good one to break. Jen, I like your didn't ask me that. Need to use that one when I start rambling. But we like your rambling, Tam. Jen says, oh, they sent an email. I forgot. Okay. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Okay. Good night, Evelyn. James says, here we go. I'll just have to get better about being assertive and comfortable with saying no. Pretty much in that situation, realizing that a friend won't hold you, that's not a bad thing to say no to. I mean, it's okay to run by another friend. Do you think it's wrong of me to say no here? If you don't know, like, how to help with a boundary, ask and get an answer and then try it. And it's going to be uncomfortable. And yes, we do have to be comfortable with them being upset a little bit or having a reaction. Most of the time, people don't. But sometimes, as I said, when you're making adjustments and changes and they're used to you being the yes man and you suddenly have a no or a maybe, sometimes then people get uncomfortable. But that's not bad. It just means they're adjusting. Um, let's see. I think we're at the end of the questions here. Anybody else have any questions tonight? I'm going to go in about 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, it's been 45 minutes long. Okay, I'm probably going to head out here. I think we're done, right? Anything else? Anybody want to talk about before I head out? My abrupt endings. I probably should find a way to smooth that out. So, yeah, there is a couple groups coming up. There is a trauma bond group starting Thursday, and there is a new group for next month, or starts next week actually, but there's a new group for the next 4 weeks on finding your bliss, finding your joy, finding your passion, whatever you want to call it, finding positivity in your life to help you propel yourself toward the next level of healing and get out of that stuck feeling and find some way to bring this light that you have inside yourself into the world. You know what I'm saying? We all have this empath light in us, this energy and this ability to bring love to what we're doing. That's like such a great empath thing that could be used out in the world. And so it's trying to find that for yourself. And when you live in that kind of life, it is so much better. So that's what the group's going to be about. It starts Monday. So anyway, good night, everyone. Thank you for being here, and I will see you hopefully. I don't have the schedule set quite yet, but I'm hoping to do this Thursday and Friday too, same time. So eventually it will be. It'll be eventually Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 4:30 Pacific, which is 6:30 Central. And that'll be the regular. Okay, guys. Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.